Porn. Love it, hate it, masturbate it. Whether you be in the never goon camp or sexualize everything camp, porn seems to be a popular subject in public and private spheres. Poetry stocks, however, continue to plummet and plummet far outside the view of the public. The average person would sooner watch a porn video once a day than read a poem once a day, or even a poem once a year for that matter. How can poetry ever seek parody with pornography? Can there be a synthesis between poetry and porn? One trailblazing poetess has taken this small step for poet kind. This is Poetry Taught Poorly, and today we will talk about the wild and strange discovery I have made in the deep forbidden jungles of the internet. I have found the possibly first pornographic video where a porn star recites her own original poetry, while doing a little bit of the self-dirty. This great visionary, who will lead the poet race into storming the nude beaches of Tuscany, goes by the name Pinko. But how did you make this great discovery, Mr. PTP?
Clearly his taste in women is the same as his taste in
poets.
Only the very best, with just the right amount of dirty.
I do think it's important to contextualize that while Pinko may have made the first pornographic poetry video, she is not the first poet to visit Goon City or have very sexually charged imagery. Take famous poet Allen Ginsberg, for example, or who I like to call Allen Goonsberg, who made the poem Please Master.
Please, master, can I touch my tongue to your rosy Please, master, can I pass my face to your balls?
Sorry in advance if I censor any words or footage to keep this from being age restricted, but if you need a quick goon sesh, this is probably not the best site to do it. Just my opinion. Here's the description of the video in question. The art of
mastication.
Who says mastication can't be a form of art? Artist Pinko from Argentina shows us some of her beautiful drawings depicting the female form, and describes how the body can convey emotion without even saying a word. Having moved to Berlin to find the right places to share her art and the right people to share it with, we're glad she chose us as her audience for this piece. Pinko reads us some of her erotic poetry and inadvertently turns herself on before undressing and pleasuring herself with a pink Bilbo.
I'm going on an adventure!
While groaning and maintaining eye contact with us. Sit back and enjoy the poetic art of mastication. We are going to discuss the poetic eye of Miss Pinko and do some quick, unserious analysis of 5 of her poems, the final one being particularly spicy. Now, I am always pro-poet, so if you are interested in supporting Pinko, you may purchase her video for the low cost of $35. I'm sure you can find her with a quick search. Now let's have the lovely Miss Pinko introduce herself, and let's look at Pinko's artistic ethos.
My name is Pinko. I am from Argentina. I have 26 years old in this life, and I am an artist. I wrote a couple of erotic poems. I like to a little bit at first romanticize and then to go straight forward.
So I'm going to compare Pinko's ethos to a few artists. Juan Francisco Casas creates hyper-realistic, sexually charged images. It gets really up close, it's realistic, and it's bold at times. You can see the very raw act of sex itself.
Good coloring.
Pleasure is rammed into your eye sockets. Pierre Auguscot creates romantic images of love that is occurring with the setting and people that seem to be otherworldly, very idealized, very innocent, and it seems like a perfect reality. Pinko's ethos combines elements of the two. Her description reminds me of Terasaki Kyogo. In his painting here of these lovers on a beach, it is stylized and idealistic vision of romance that still hits you with the bold, in-your-face act of sex itself. I'm expecting her to talk about how someone's love is like these delicate petals or flowers before explicitly providing a detailed guide on the art of 69. Let us see if this is so. Also, another side note, she is reading these poems sans pantalones for the full video and essentially has her clothes magicked away with every poem.
What is your dream job? I don't dream of working. I dream of a rose, of the smell of Yasmin. I dream of your taste in my mouth. I dream of bitches in bare skin.
I think this poem has an interesting subversion from title to the first line. You expect it to be about work, but she's like, the only job I care to do is blowjobs. I think it might have been able to been cut down to a quick two-liner if she wanted to be based anti-wage slave. What is your dream job? I don't dream of working. But Pinko is horny, so that was not the case here. However, the poem is kind of flat to me and it just sort of ends. This poem reminds me of an inexperienced couple. Little foreplay, no climax.
To which his gaze took me. I can't imagine feeling it inside me.
Pinko loves subversion. The word it switches from a gaze to a dick in 3 lines. She's definitely a master of the bait and switch. All I have to say from this poem is that yes, women get horny too.
I call you. No, you call me. Not my baby, nor my darling. Just my lover. As if that was not enough. My friend, my only one.
Okay, for this one you can see her doing that play with the title again, but this one's a bit sadder in tone. It is a longing for intimacy while relegated to a certain role. She is only a friends with benefits and not a serious partner. Who can relate? It plays on the use of personal names and its implications with intimacy. A very poetic observation.
Why am I Mr. Pink?
Think about how you call your GFBF sweetheart or Big Booty Judy. They are personal names. Personal words. Lover is a very formal term which lacks the intimacy of baby or darling or my mango. There is a clear tension here as well with her providing the title of only one. She sees something greater in the relationship that the lover does not see. I like the play with the idea of assigned intimacy through naming, but again, poem not really realized here for me.
Slow fantasy in the back of my mind. Shy and burning looks, but deep desire, flesh and blood, celestial being, physical and spiritual. He falls on my chest. I let him be held. Letting go control turns me on. Hard nipples, his member erect. Waterfall. I am so wet.
For this poem, you can see the split that she was talking about, how she likes romanticizing and then going in. But honestly, despite this being a dirty poem, my blood remains cool and my member rather floppy. I get she's trying to say that the D is so good it's religious and it's a physical and spiritual experience, but I am not experiencing this religion. It seems more like a cult than a religion from my perspective from how this is set up. And that last bar sounds like some alternate universe boom bap rap line. Let it go, control, turns me on. Hard nipples, member erect. Waterfall, I'm so wet. I'm so wet. Okay, for this last poem, Pinko is wearing the Emperor's clothes and is armed with a pink apparatus of some sort.
Antonio left his big house with wife and children and drived to his psychologist. He found the door ajar. He strolled in without making the slightest sound. On the carpet, he found her on all fours on the floor, in front of a mirror, looking at her. "Don't move," he said. "I like that pose." Then he crouched over her like a gigantic kite, and he her. He gave her what he did not give to his mistress. Antonio's weight finally made her collapse and lie down on the wall. His seemed to be made of real hot iron. It was long and narrow, moving in all directions, Antonio, whose gestures were getting faster and faster, said in a hoarse voice, "Now, give it all to me, like you've never done before. Surrender." With these words, she began to jump at him furiously, and the was consummated. It came like a bolt of lightning, which had hit both of them.
Okay, this poem is obviously raunchy, but I think she kinda cooked. At least in the conceptualization department. In this poem, you have a sordid affair going, so it's dangerous, exciting, and the sex electric. That is why the last image he provides us is kind of great. You have a lightning bolt that strikes them both, connecting them physically, but it's also dangerous and exciting. It is almost a perfect metaphor for sex in this particular context. It is a good image that captures the excitement and danger of the affair, though it may not be fully realized in how it's phrased. It takes a poetic mind to think of that, so don't be hating on Pinko fully. She got something going for her. However, two of her metaphors and similes are not so good. When she says his dick feels like real hot iron moving in all directions, that sounds so painful. This is the shift between Vlad impales her to Vlad the Impaler. Also, the line that he was like a gigantic kite seems to be a bit careless in use to me. When you think of kites, you might connect the word with summer days, outside, childhood. It makes a strange resonance when you connect that word with someone hovering over you to give you pipe, especially when it's not framed to help me understand why. It seems a better phrasing or metaphor could have done a lot here. You know, thinking about this further, I think this metaphor might actually relate to our great American womanizer and inventor, Benjamin Franklin, who also used the kite and also got shocked. Coincidence? I think not. Then her video continues on to the boring stuff, and eventually a bolt of lightning strikes Pinko after finishing her poem and herself. Low-key, I think this might be the end state of self-important poets, jerking off to their own words. And that is the conclusion of the very first poetry genre of pornography. Now, I like Pinko's trailblazing nature, but I still would like to share another poet, Sara DeMulder. Although doesn't engage her art in the same bold way, she still beautifully and cleverly captures sex and shows how sex can be an escape, which is very goon-centric, I might add.
Day 6. You may think I'm in denial, that I'm avoiding the bigger issue here, but you didn't even look at me the last time you said, "I love you." And shit, if it didn't feel like the end of the world. I know this can't be healthy, pretending everything is on fire, but baby, we could be the most beautiful wreckage in all this smoke. When the apocalypse does come, I will rebuild our city with my tongue. I will suck the world's ashes from your fingers. I will refuse to let the fires of this hell be the only thing that makes us sweat. When the apocalypse comes, so will we.
Porn is infinitely more popular than poetry is currently. How can poetry make this comeback happen? Maybe not through the marriage of porn and poetry, but perhaps through the mixture of poetry with music, film, animation, comics, or any other genre. Maybe a way to bring a wonderful genre that is poetry into greater social relevance. Maybe even get people to decide to read a poem a day over watching a porn vid a day. Just kidding, I just want poetry porn now, baby. Give me Ezra Pound Town. Give me Emily Dickinson. I want all that shit online now. Hey MILFs, move over. It's time for poetry porn at the fuck.